I did talk about finding your prospect awareness level. And the idea behind that is that you need to know how you should position your letter so that it captures the right audience that you're targeting. What I mean here is that some people sometimes don't have an idea of the kind of problem they have until you tell them. Now, because there is that discrepancy in people's understanding of the problem, you need to be able to let them know. You need to be able to, first of all, know what is the customer's awareness level before you can go ahead to pitch to them. But then let me quickly classify some of the awareness levels. I don't know if I've done this before in this class, but hoping I haven't, I'm going to do it now. But then if I have done it before, use it as a means of revision. But then here's what it means anyway. So first of all, there are two things you need to be aware of. I did mention your prospect awareness level. Now let me explain what this means. Levels of prospect awareness. Number one is that some of them doesn't even know that they have a problem until you tell them, or until you let them know what that problem could actually be. For instance, you may not know that you have to, okay, let me not say you. One may not know that they need to watch what they eat in order to avoid obesity. Now, your copy could be about dieting and helping people reposition that idea when it comes to what they eat so that they don't get into creating a bigger problem for themselves vis-a-vis obesity. So that sort of awareness level, usually by people who are not so well informed, are going to probably fall victim to that, or people who are very lazy to even hack into that, knowledge. But then in this level, we're actually targeting people who are not aware that eating unnecessary food and fatty foods will probably lead to obesity. This kind of people don't know the problem that is inherent, all right? So you need to let this kind of people know your marketing here is tough. The reason is because you have to start from educational level, educating them on the dangers of eating fatty foods and uncontrolled dietary, right? So if you're able to let them know all of these things, then you can go ahead and start teaching them and introducing your own product. And the second level of people you may want to consider is those who know that they have a serious problem. All right. So, but these people, they don't know if there's a solution for that particular problem. All right. So at this point, this person knows he has a problem, but then doesn't know there's a solution for it. Your job as a copywriter is, if you target this kind of people, what you're going to do is that you're going to make it known. There's no need explaining the problem because they are already well conversant with it, but you can mention it in passing, and just so you can make sure you're on the same page. But then overall, your main job is to let them know that there's a solution to it. And amongst the various solutions that exist, you have the best. All right. So your job is mainly to tell them, to educate them on the possible solutions that exist out there. And amongst all of those solutions, which is the best amongst them. All right. So that's your job. The number three set of people, or prospect awareness level, are those people who know that they have a problem, and they probably know that there's a solution to that problem. All right. But then they are looking for the best option out of those plethora of options that exist. They are looking for the best. This kind of people, you don't owe them an education on the problem. You don't owe them an education on the fact that solution exists. What you owe them is helping them select the best option possible. And you want to sell yourself so well that they make the decision of believing that your own product is the best, or your own solution is the best among all there is. So if you're able to get yourself established to the point where they get to believe that what you're selling is going to make the most sense to them and it's going to solve their problem most effectively, then you're doing a good job, a great job in getting people to buy what you're selling. So another level of prospect awareness is where people know they have a problem, they know that there's a solution, and they have tried multiple solutions, yet nothing works for them. So at this point, they are, before they even buy anything again, or before they decide to try anything out, it's going to take a lot, because they will have a lot of doubt. For example, people in the weight loss industry, there are many weight loss programs out there. So people who are overweighted have probably tried so many things to reduce that overweight. All right. So because of the ineffectiveness of all of these things that they have tried, they are mostly very reluctant in the next things that they do. All right. So because of that reluctance, you need to break that barrier. In this instance, your job is uh, you need to make sure that you erase the doubt that is already inherent in them, because they are, at this point, they are easily irritated by any attempt to sell to them. Because why? They have tried so many things and it didn't work. Probably the same thing you're saying now to them is what other people who sold so many other items to them said. So once they hear anything that looks like what they've heard before, it becomes irritating to them. And that's a very big turn off for them. So you want to make sure that you have a unique selling point. You need to make sure from your research that there are people who are out there with the same product, or sorry, with product that tend to solve the same problem that you're also solving. All right. So you need to know what those people are selling, what is the efficacy level of what they are selling, and who have used it, and what are people saying about those products in and of themselves. This is where Amazon comes in. This is where Facebook comes in. All right. So you can go to those product Facebook pages and check out what people are saying about them. And then also you can go to forums. I mentioned forums yesterday, but then there was one I was trying to remember, and that's Nairaland for Nigerians. So if you're talking about Nigerian foreign forums, you want to think the biggest one to be Nairaland. So you can go to Nairaland and hear what people are saying about weight loss. What have they tried and what have they not tried? All right. So that way you're able to get an inkling of what is working and what isn't working. And then the things that causes dissatisfaction, or the very product that people are dissatisfied with, what actually make them so dissatisfactory. All right. So you want to know all of those things and put them all together to present a better case or a better copy, so that you can sell to this kind of irritated people. You must realize that there is also another level of awareness level, where people who are very exposed to like the everyday information out there, they understand. For example, weight loss people, they understand. In fact, in any niche, probably there are many people saying, oh, I have the best product, I have the best solution to this problem. So you must understand the competition out there. Now your job is for people who are aware of the level of competition that is out there, you need to make sure that you stand out amongst these people competing each other. All right. So I believe that the best way you can beat the competition oftentimes is to give an offer that your client, or sorry, your prospect cannot reject. Give them freebies, give them something, build that trust, right? Give them something that solves an immediate problem, or something that provides an immediate solution, so that they can trust you from there. And please make sure that whenever you start writing copy for people, you should know that copywriting is a very valuable skill, and it can make people do a lot of things. The skill you're learning is a very dangerous skill, and if you use it wrongly, it's going to cause a very massive disaster. So please do not use it for scamming purposes, please. I believe you've gotten the idea of the certain awareness level that exists. People who don't know they have a problem and how you can convince them. People who know they have a problem, but then they don't know that there's a solution. you know how to deal with them. 90% of marketers don't succeed because most times they target people who are not interested in what they are selling. So from your research, you should be able to know who is interested in whatever you're selling. So the hypothetical job or project that we'll be doing today is on helmet. All right, so we're going to get an idea of how to sell a helmet as a copywriter. So in your head, imagine it this way. You have been given a job to do. All right, you've been given a job to do as a copywriter. Now, your work is to advertise a particular helmet called the Harrison's helmet, or the Harrison's helmet that will help us sell the helmet for the client. Now, for starters, here is something you should know. Assuming we've already gone to our client, I will ask them a couple of questions, and then they tell us, "Oh, our helmet is lightweighted. It's not as heavy as other ones, and it doesn't cause you to sweat all over." This is something that sets us apart from the current market and the competition out there. People use helmet today, and bicycle helmet, by the way. People use bicycle helmet, and the problem most of the time is that these helmets are usually heavy, or they cause you to sweat, and then over time it causes those sweats to drip into your eyes and all of those. And this is the problem for many cyclists, because while the sweat drips into their mouth and their eyes, it causes them to at some point close their eyes, because sweat can be peppery, or yeah, can be peppery. So when sweat drips into your eyes, what happens? You lose control because you want to get that pain off your eyes. And while you're on high speed cycle on a speed race, you're and then you're not able to see because of the sweat dripping into your eyes. So this in itself causes you to have an accident or a crash, and that's the problem. All right, so this is your selling point. You've been able to identify this possibility. Now, next thing you want to go is, I think at this point I should share my screen. Feel free to play with keywords. The benefits of wearing a helmet while cycling. Benefits. So please, guys, look closely. Um, you can see Google is already suggesting things for me, right? Here's the thing, I'm not done with typing, but what I want to type is already here looking at me. So you can see benefit of wearing a helmet while biking, or I could just say cycling. Here is cycling. But then take note of all of the suggestions that Google tells you. This goes to show you that there are people searching for similar things, right? And all of these things are probably being searched for by millions or thousands of people. So it tells us that since people are interested in this kind of things, possibly they are a goal for you, right? So if you have a way, you can copy all of these things in a book. So you can copy all of these things in a book, and when you copy them in a book, they are probably like research they are research topics for you. Now look at this. I just have on my search bar, benefit of wearing a helmet. This is very, very vague. So under it, there's reasons not to wear a helmet. Sorry, reasons not to wear a bike helmet. 10 reasons to wear a helmet. Consequences of not wearing a bicycle helmet. Bike helmet safety. So you can see all of these things. 5 advantages of this one is pros and cons and all of those things. Now, your best bet is that you want to get all of this, especially the articles that are against status quo, because normally everyone will tell you, hey, I think it's best if you just wear a helmet while cycling because it protects your head and it helps you not it reduces the amount of injury you could get when you fall from a bicycle. Now, this one here that says reasons not to wear a bike helmet, you want to check them out. The reason why you're checking them out is because you want to be sure of what the counterfactual word is. Like, what people who believe that you shouldn't wear a bike helmet, what is their line of argument? What do they have against helmets? What are the disadvantages? So you have 5 advantages and there are disadvantages as well. Pros and cons, that's advantage and disadvantage. So you want to check all of those things out. But then in the meantime, look at the first thing that comes up on Google is from brevardhealth.org. This is a health organization site. So they have a couple of things. Let me just see the ones on their description here. They said wearing the right sized helmet protects both your head and brain, preventing external and internal damage. This is especially important in terms of bike safety to kids as their brains are still developing. If you're unsure if an accident has resulted in an injury, it's always safer to seek medical attention. Guys, are you following me here?
Yes, we're following you, sir.
Yes, we're following you.
Awesome. So remember, our aim is to sell a helmet. So to be able to do that, we should be able to get all of the facts that are needed. I told you that research is the heart of copywriting. If you don't have a good research system, you're going to find it difficult to write, and all your writing is going to be based on assumption. That is hardly going to convert. All right. So let's move on to the research. Like in your research, and if you're using Google, for instance, you can feel free to look at pictures, look at the possible helmets that are out there. All right. And then you must know from your research what advantage you have over the existing helmets. Also, if you look up here, you understand that there was something very interesting that was mentioned here, and that is this part that I'm highlighting. So you see where I said this is especially important in terms of bike safety for kids as their brains are still developing. This is a very important argument line that you can use in your copy because kids are very vulnerable because they are on their developmental stage. At this point, parents are not going to want to take chances. So this is where you can use fear as an emotional trigger to make parents buy whatever you are selling buy your helmet, because they love their children and they don't want any harm coming to them. And they know that children when cycling can always fall because they have less controlling ability as against an adult. So when they fall, it's going to be a free fall, and that will be very detrimental to them. And because they are vulnerable, they can sustain the kind of injuries that adults can't sustain. So if an adult falls from a bicycle, he can always use his hands or elbow to help protect his head and then have bruises all over, as against a child that just falls with lesser and lesser control. So that's going to be very problematic when kids are left in the wild to handle these things on their own without any sort of protective layer. So you can use fear as an emotional trigger for parents to make them respond to your message. Now, you've seen how you can use Google, right? I'm not done here. And if you look at my my Google on the right hand side, this place where I'm pointing my system, my sensor, you will see that I have some keyword suffers. This keyword suffers just helps me to identify some important keywords that are related to what I'm searching for each time I go on Google. All right. So I did mention Amazon as well, but then there's a lot to do on Google. Now let me show you an example of some of the things I talked about yesterday. Now let me just go. I was saying, for instance, if you're searching for something like a diabetic forum, so you can go on double quotation, then uh, diabetes, diabetes. Then I said use a plus sign, and then go just give a space. You go plus, then you go forums. So guys, look at my screen very well. You see suggestions are coming up. So under this, I have seen diabetes plus forums. You can see diabetes forums type 1, forum app, forum USA, diabetes.co.uk for forums in the UK. Diabetes forums for newly diagnosed patients, type 2 diabetes community, and all of these things. This like are like practical ways you can use your Google. Another way, like there's something else that I mentioned. I said, for instance, if you're searching for a particular thing, let me say helmet exclusively. I want to see only articles pertaining to helmet. I don't want to see any other thing that is not concerning that does not concern helmet. So I'll just put my quotation, and so everything you see, even from the suggestion, is all about helmet, helmet, helmet. All right. And even on the search bar, if I search for this, all the results that comes up are all about helmets. I can't see any other nonsense article from anywhere that doesn't concern helmets. So it's a more streamlined uh, method of getting specific information for whatever you want. Now let me play with helmets. Let me just play with some additional stuff here. Let's say I want everything that has to do with helmet plus anything starting with A, the letter A. So this is the ABC method of research. Now helmet, under here suggestions, I can see helmet accessories, helmet AGV, alteration, armor, helmet art, helmet RI, helmet Azure, helmet Amazon, helmet AC, and all. Then delete that and go for B. You can see something like helmet bike, helmet brands, helmet belt, helmet bicycle, helmet Bluetooth, helmet bag, and all of that. If you remove that and put C, there's still something to show you. And that's how it continues till Z, all right? But mostly, let's put F and see if you can see free. Mostly for some who can't see free, there's no free helmet. So for most things, let's say you're searching for software, you can always have free software. Let's say, um, let me use my double quotation and go for writing software. Okay, there's no software. So close my quotation. Now I don't even need to put F, but I'm seeing free. But on putting F, I can see free, I can see for writers, I can see for novels, for Mac, for Chrome, for online teaching, for novels, and you get all those things. So let me go for A. writing software architecture documents, AI, software, whatever, proposals and all those things. But then just get the idea right. There are a lot of things you can do with your Google. Google is a great tool. I'm just playing around so that you can see a lot of like the options that you have. Now, when you're done with Google, there's always YouTube. You can go to YouTube. The same method you use in searching for things on Google, like using plus word plus word, word and columns, sorry, quotations, and all of those. You can also use them on YouTube. I don't know why my network is still loading on here. So the same methods you use, you can always use them on here as well, so that you don't have like issues with with your research.